Hello, and welcome to the VizWorld Weekly Podcast, Episode 2. We've got some big stuff to cover this week, so let's go ahead and get started. First up, conferences. In Seattle, Washington, from July 20th to July 23rd, Tableau will be having its Tableau Customer Conference. Registration fee is $1,195, but if you can register before May 15th, you can get $200 off that amount. Also, the first 100 registrants will be guaranteed a one-on-one session with the Tableau Doctor, a staff visualization expert. But if you're not early enough to get into the first 100, he'll be taking appointments throughout the entire conference. In Dallas, Texas, from March 28th to March 31st, the Reverie Workshop, run by conceptart.org and Massive Black, will be helping graphics artists and designers meet other fellow artists and directors. They draw students and professionals from around the world with the purpose of improving their skills, sharing ideas, and learning together under the guidance of world-renowned professional artists and designers. Registration is currently open at $595. Finally, this week's CGCon 2009, that will be held in Los Angeles, California from July 16th to 19th, announced that they've teamed up with the Animation Mentors program. So far on staff, they've got people amongst Charles Alneck from ILM, Morgan Kelly from DreamWorks, Anthony Wong from Pixar, and industry legend Dave Burgess from DreamWorks. The full list of classes, including concept, art, digital painting, modeling, and more, is available on their website along with registration costs. So now, on to videos, and this week we've got a good one. First up for videos this week is a good one, Sita Sings the Blues. From their website, Sita is a goddess separated from her beloved lord and husband Rama. Nina is an animator whose husband moves to India and then dumps her by email. 3 hilarious shadow puppets narrate both ancient tragedy and modern comedy in this beautifully animated interpretation of the Indian epic Ramayana. Set to 1920s jazz vocals of Annette Hanshaw, Sita Sings the Blues earns its tagline as the greatest breakup story ever told. Now, the film was actually completed approximately 2 years ago, but there's been a lot of legal entanglements regarding the use of Annette Hanshaw's vocal music. They were unwilling to switch to a different artist, but just this week they've finally been able to work that out, and Nina Paley, the artist behind the entire work, released the entire hour-and-a-half movie under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license. Because of that, it's now available all over the internet for streaming and downloading, and it's in 1080p, which makes it fantastic if you've got a large display. The entire piece was animated in Flash, except for a tiny bit of roto work done in Adobe After Effects. I highly recommend it. It's got 3 different unique styles of animation. There's the hand-drawn segments that are the present of Nina and her husband. There's the vector graphics, oversaturated animation of Nina and Rama, and then you've got the interesting animated roto poster view of the 3 puppets. I definitely suggest you check it out. Second this week is a demonstration by UC Berkeley's Citrus Lab of their collaborative visualization tool. It's a video available on YouTube showing users interacting with a simple data set with one user situated inside the Ket Cave environment and another user remotely on a simple desktop environment. Not only is it technically interesting, but it also shows some interesting research work they've done in what's necessary to facilitate 3D avatars of remote users in a virtual environment to make it seem useful and realistic. So now, on to more hardware. Hardware this week, there's been a lot of press for a new company on the scene called Caustic that claims to have a real-time ray tracing engine. The first time they came up this week was when they announced a specialized hardware accelerator that could give you a nice 20x performance improvement on real-time ray tracing work. And apparently they demoed this to some various investors and some people from the Wall Street Journal that were suitably impressed. Later this week, they came back talking about a new software library called Caustic RT that runs on top of Caustic GL that uses this new prototype visualization accelerator chip that they've developed called Caustic One that will supposedly give you a 200x improvement in real-time ray tracing speed. While all this is fine and good, I have failed to be able to find a single demonstration of the complete system in one. And given the type of massive change it would require in the industry to switch away from ATI and NVIDIA to a system like this, who knows if it'll ever come to market, but nonetheless it's pretty neat. Also, you may remember last week I talked about NVIDIA trying to pull the wool over a lot of people's eyes by rebranding the old 9800 GT as a new 240 GTS. Well, apparently, as expected, there was a bit of an uproar with their various brand suppliers about what it would cost to their current inventory to have to go through and relabel all their existing product. So they've reneged on this, and instead they've decided they're going to just refocus their advertising and marketing on 3 specific 9800 GT cards: the regular 9800, the special low power 9800, and the overclocked 9800. TecPlot started off the week by announcing their new TecPlot360 2009 and TecPlot Focus 2009. Now, TecPlot has long been the standard visualization tool for computational fluid dynamics, or CFD work. While it does do very well, the graphics have been lagging behind newer products such as Ensight and ParaView. Well, that's the focus of this release, is to improve the graphics. They've added animation support, they've added clipping and cutting so that you can slice pieces of the data away and see inside. So it's a big upgrade. Might be worth checking out if you actually are a TecPlot user, and is currently available from their website. Shortly on the heels of that, CEI came along to announce Ensight Lite version 9. If you're an Ensight Lite user, then for the low price of $1,600, you can upgrade to the latest version, version 9, and get 64-bit OS support and twice as many functions mapped to your mouse buttons. From the press release, that's about all they announce. If you dig a little deeper, you can see they've also added some keyframe animation support and a handful of new import and output filters. So if you're an Ensight Lite user, it may be worth it. It's currently available from their website for $1,600, unless you're an academic user, in which case it's $400. And lastly this week, a smaller product by the name of VTK Designer released version 2.7. While you may not have ever heard of VTK, if you've ever done any information or data visualization work, then surely you have. VTK Designer is a graphical user interface that lays on top of VTK to help you interactively design and reconfigure your VTK pipelines on the fly. It's a pretty neat little tool, and it's freely available from their website. So that does it for this week. All the stories and videos that you saw me talk about in this podcast are available on the VizWorld.com website, and they'll be individually linked from the blog post accompanying this podcast. Look forward to seeing you again next week.